Right, so today we consider how to draft a charge in Magistrate Court in the South. Now, when you look at the draft in the South, you can see that unlike the draft we saw in the North previously, the draft is done this time by a police officer. Remember, in the North, the draft was by the magistrate. Now, in terms of the structure, you can see that it is one paragraph. Unlike, again, what we saw in the North, where it was 3 paragraphs. It's one paragraph containing the substance of the charge against the accused person. All right, so the draft you can see on the screen here simply says that you, Maxwell Body, on the 10th day of July at shop 15C at Timber Market within the Enugu Magisterial District stole the black purse, property of one Miss Cynthia Okon, and thereby committed an offense of stealing, punishable under Section 390 of the Criminal Code Law of Enugu State. So that's the structure of the draft in the magistrate in the South. It's one paragraph essentially. Now, if you look at the draft in the High Courts in the North, you see that it is exactly the same structure, just like you have in the magistrate in the South. It's also just one paragraph containing the substance of the charge against the accused person. The only difference is that this time we have it being signed by an officer in the AG's office and not the police. So both of them are exactly the same in terms of the structure. Of course, there are differences here and there that you would observe. Of course, you know that with the heading of the court, for instance, in the magistrate, we say magisterial district. In the High Court, we say judicial division. And there's some other things you would also observe in the magistrate court when referring to the section of the law that has been contravened. We say punishable under. But you see in the draft in the High Court, when referring to the section of the law, we say contrary to. So here it says kidnapping contrary to section 273 of the Penal Code Law. But if you go look at the draft in the Magistrate Court in the South, you can see that it says stealing punishable under. All right, so there are those nuances, those differences in terms of the language that is used, but in terms of the structure, both of them are exactly the same. It's just one paragraph containing all of that information about the charge against the accused person. So that's how to draft in the magistrate in the South and the High Court in the North. So I'll see you in the next video to talk about the draft in the High Courts in the South, in Lagos, and the FCT. Bye-bye.